Hello and welcome to the Corner 3 Show. My name's Alex.
My name's Ross.
And my name's Zach.
And welcome back. It's been a week since we've last joined you. Came back from the road trip. Pacers are back in town playing tonight against Charlotte. But first, let's start with that road trip. Zach, game of the week.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this game. We thought we would play better, but we did not. Golden State ended up whooping us 142-106, and Klay Thompson had his career night for 60 points.
He had 60 points?
60 points.
In only 30 minutes.
Yeah. Only 30 minutes. I don't think ESPN talked about that at all.
He touched the ball like under. Did you see that? He had the ball in his hands for some like ridiculous amount, like
11
nothing.
dribbles.
11 dribbles.
After what?
Pacers
22
defense is nuts,
touches.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
Ellis.
there was no bright spots here. Obviously, not a lot of defense, not a lot of anything for the Pacers. The one bright spot, PG got to the line, but nothing really there. But I think there's something fun for us to talk about, actually. I thought that this article was going to be written by now, but I think Zach Lowe's going to hit at some point. But is it possible for someone on the Warriors to score 100 points? Klay scored 60 through 3, and he still could have shot more. I think Durant had 20, Steph had 13. So is it possible? Let's just throw it out there.
He had a whole other quarter to go.
And then OT. And what if the game was...
The game has to be competitive.
The game has to be competitive. That's what my cousin brought out. Shout out Jared Moore. We were talking about this. He said, and if the game's competitive, then Curry and Durant's or one of the other two is going to have a big impact. So
I feel like they're good enough. They can go into a game thinking tonight is if it's your night, we're going to get you to 100. They could have that feasibly happen,
or at least 81.
Yeah,
at least
I think
Kobe's.
80 is.
I think
more
80 is
likely.
definitely.
100 would be fantastic, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen just because they got so many guys and the game has to be competitive. But I see it more likely of like a guy who's on a team that's mediocre and he's got to put the team on his back. I can see that happening. He's just going to chuck it up, But on the Warriors, I don't see it.
I found a stat. The last time someone got that close in only 30 minutes was Larry Bird. He scored 43 in under 30 minutes.
Is this the Hawks game?
And that's the most the Pacers have given up since 1990. I don't remember what game that was with Bird.
When Larry had the 60?
No, he only had 43 in under 30 minutes. So Klay scored the most in under 30 minutes than anybody since Bird, and he scored 60.
I remember it was also Larry's birthday, and they were showing those clips from him versus the Hawks. It's the only time on the bench that the opposing team is going more nuts than the Celtics bench was. That's just a great...
Isn't there a stat where the coach fined his players after that game?
I think something like that.
The other
Bill Simmons always mentions that as the greatest... you've hit peak level of stardom when the other team is cheering for you.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Last stat I had from that game, Golden State had 45 assists, 25 more than all the Pacers combined. So they're a better team. Moving on.
I think if we face them in the finals, we're going to have some matchup problems.
Gosh.
Let's get there
We don't
first.
have to talk about that anymore. The next game then was against Phoenix. Pacers actually won this one, 109-94. Phoenix, I felt like, was the team that always seemed to have our number this year anyway, like a Charlotte in the past. But we finally won a game against them. We have written down here it was closer than the actual score at the end there. We didn't even have an MVP at the end. We just picked the clock because, thank God, the game was over. Mm-hmm. It's tight the whole time. What are your guys' thoughts on that game?
Bad. Ugly, 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 ugly game. They shouldn't have even won that game. They just won that game because Phoenix is that bad. And Paul George at the end, we could talk about that in a second, but it was not a fun game for anyone to watch, and I stupidly stayed up really late and watched that game.
I think I went to bed.
Well, if you would have watched everybody's discussion over text messages, you would have thought we lost the game, but
yeah,
it was ugly. They should have lost that game.
Yeah.
Pulled it out.
But Paul George definitely took over late in the fourth. He had that corner three. Thanks, PG, for the shout out there to seal the game. But what won them the game is that he shut down Booker, who was destroying Ellis. Anyone that even Glenn Robinson was taken to town. So I think PG kind of showed that all-star first team all defense PG that we're used to, and had 25, 13 rebounds and really shut down Booker. But a point here we can mention here is, and it's kind of a trend that we're seeing here, is that Miles, Teague, and Paul George are like the three-headed monster that I think that we all wanted them to be before the season.
To succeed in the NBA, you have to have two stars, it feels like anymore. And especially having a third is a great commodity to have. You mentioned Teague, Miles. Turner had 6 threes in that game. No, 3 threes, sorry.
Yeah.
He'd made 6 the whole season up to that point. So that was nice to see. Teague had 11 assists, the most he's had as a Pacer, and his first double-double as a Pacer. So like you said, becoming the three-headed monster. These guys are starting to round into shape, and PG already looks like he's getting back to last season form before the injury.
Definitely.
And just when you think they're playing good and they're going to carry it over, they lose to the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes, that did happen.
Worst team in the West, maybe even the NBA right now. And you go and lay a dud like that. Monte Ellis, 0 points. Sucking it up as usual. I think it was his first time scoring 0 points for the Pacers. 8th overall, 7th or 8th.
It's not good.
Yeah,
it's not good. But yeah, it was the worst loss of the season. I think Chris and Ari made that point during the broadcast, just because of how bad the Mavericks are. They did whip the Bulls a couple days earlier, but still, Mavs are terrible. That was a game where they actually had the lead. They had an 8-point lead in the middle of the second. And then everything fell apart. And the rest of the game, trying to watch that, was hard to watch. It was just bad.
Our leading scorer was, C.J. Miles that game? Or he had 6 threes anyway. So
he played great, actually. Spot. And you'd think he and Monte are both from the Dallas area. And C.J. probably has one of his best games of the season. And Monte, he just can't get anything going. It's bad.
PG led the team in rebounds. I don't know. It's just a very roller coaster week for the Pacers. Highs, lows.
And that was a perfect opportunity to close out the road trip with a winning record, 3-2. Everyone was talking about that. Instead, you come back to Indy on a Saturday with a losing record on that road trip. So they're 11-12 heading into Saturday. Pacers down early. I was at the game. I went last second. Fun night, 70s night. We got the bobbleheads for those people you can see on YouTube.
Game?
Yeah, the Blazers game. Mel Daniels, George McGinnis, cool halftime commemoration. But 44 points in the first quarter. It was amazing. It was really cool just to see those guys shoot, though. Lillard and McCollum are beasts. I think Lillard had 19 in the first. Anything they threw up was going in. 44 points in the first quarter, and I turned to the guy next to me, and I was like, well, this is going to be a long game, that's for sure. A crowd moaned at every shot, but then the second unit kept the Pacers in the game. And one thing that I've noticed with this second unit is that they can get the Pacers back into the game, but sometimes Nate doesn't know when to pull them when they lose that edge. And so they might get it down to 5 or 6, 7, whatever that number is. But then if they play them too long, that number starts to creep back up. But things turned around. Monte goes out with a sore groin.
Do we know how long he's out?
He's out tonight, so I don't know anything. I think they said they're going to
extended.
reevaluate tomorrow. One person texted me and said the only reason he thinks Monte is starting is because they're trying to show teams he still has trade value. So, and that was whoa. Mike had an issue there, but that was from an inside source too. So,
does he have a sore groin? Does he have a sore ego?
Ooh,
pride. Too bad.
Great. It was a good game. Thad Young. I didn't know the dude could hit 3-pointers. He had 6 3-pointers.
Career high, yeah.
Career high. It's nice to see him
in 3-pointers. Yeah.
Do something like offensively. He's been there defensively. He gets rebounds, but he really hasn't had a big offensive game this year. And it was good to see him. What did he get? 24 points.
He had 6 3-pointers. That just says it all, though.
Points, yeah.
I think that's a career high for him.
Yeah.
Especially because it looked like everything. He was just very confident with his shot too. Yeah. Extremely confident.
That snapped the Pacers' 5-game losing streak to Portland. We haven't beat Portland since 2014. So, I'll take it.
That. Something to know. Yeah. But other than that, Paul George, 37 points, had a monster of a fourth quarter there. Just dominant. I think he scored 15 straight in the fourth. Pulling up, looked like that Heat game. I don't know if you guys remember that that first Hickory game last year against the Heat on ESPN. Just took over in the fourth, and then that play where he misses a shot, Miles tips it out, and then Paul George gets under the rim, 2-hand dunk on Lillard.
Did Miles tip it, or did Paul rip it out of Miles' hands? He was focused.
Yeah,
he wanted that ball.
He wanted that ball.
I have that written down here. Is that PG's career moment so far? He has a dunk on Birdman.
Birdman. It's not even close.
To send it to overtime,
dunk on Birdman.
But it has to be in his top 5 career moments for PG.
The windmill. I think it was a windmill against the Clippers.
The 360 windmill.
Yeah. When he's the dunk contest. Yeah, I remember that one.
Definitely up there.
That was 44 points Portland had in the first quarter, only 13 in the fourth. Something changed after halftime. Pacers locked down.
Yeah, one thing we'll talk about later, I think, but Aaron Brooks came in, and I haven't been the biggest Aaron Brooks fan thus far, but he had great defense on Lillard and McCollum. He really came in and just made them earn everything as far as just turning them up the court, not making anything too easy. So I was actually really impressed with him, and that's why I think Nate Taylor came out with the article today about Stuckey starting, because Brooks has kind of played himself as a part of that lineup, whether one game allows it or not.
I read one stat I wanted to mention too before we move on. The reason I think we gave up all those first quarter points, the Pacers surrendered the most wide open threes in the NBA. Did you know that? Wide open being 6 feet or more of open space. They lead the league with that category. So that's probably where we get to the defense
fun to
when
play
you
the
start
Pacers.
Is that Monte Ellis playing the defense?
Probably.
Coming off the pick.
A lot of stuff.
We kind of already covered already, but the big stories of the week, obviously, we had Paul George is back finally.
Mm-hmm.
Is he? Question mark. Yes.
Exclamation point.
It's good. It's good to see him. Thing with Paul George is he's a smooth player. It looks like sometimes he's not trying. He has a good game, and you just really don't see the emotion all the time for him. In this last game, where you saw it, he's sitting there flexing his muscles. You get the pictures all over the internet with Damian Lillard standing right there and stuff. And it's good to see him take like a leadership role, try to show the guys, hey, like follow my lead. I'm going to carry this team if I have to. It's good to see him finally step up and. He might not want to do that every night, but until this team shows consistency, he needs to just put him on his back and start carrying it like the team leader he should be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, absolutely. He's just, when he's healthy and when he's playing like that, he's a top 10, top 5 player in the league. There's not many guys who can affect the game like he did last night or the other night on both ends, because he took McCollum there when GR3 was having issues with McCollum and Ellis, obviously, and Stuckey. He kind of took over that role. I mean, McCollum had 33, but that 33 was on everyone else. When PG wants to play defense on someone, he locks them up. I mean, some of the stops he had the other night are just amazing. And then on the offensive end, just knocking down shots and playing like the superstar he is.
Yes, and with the upcoming schedule, I'd be nice to see PG keep that level, and if those other two guys can rise up, we have written down here, the road trip's over now. Going forward, we have a much easier schedule. The only opponent who scares me is not till January, and it's the Jazz or something like that. And until then, we have Detroit and a lot of the bottom.
Tonight, though,
middle
a little bit.
Tonight.
Just because they have our number.
But besides them, there's not a Warriors, Spurs, any of those type of opponents we're going to see till January, February. So now's the time to start padding that stat, because between the 2 and the 10 seed in the East is only 2 games. Between the 10 and 11, only 2 games. So really, we're only 2 games out of the number 2 seed in the East.
I think Toronto's up on the 2 seed by themselves right now, but we can check that in a second.
Whatever, it's close.
But it's close. Yeah, no, it's definitely close, and the East is wide open still. But so we had that road trip. Pacers are back in town. They go 2 games. I think it's the Magic and New Orleans coming up or something like that. They go for 2 games away soon. But tonight, obviously, they're playing the Hornets. So when you hear this, they have already played the Hornets, hopefully beat the Hornets. But Rodney Stuckey is not going to start. It's going to be Glenn Robinson tonight. But moving forward, is Rodney Stuckey going to start? Who's going to move into that second unit? Nate Taylor had an article today talking about Rodney Stuckey. We've talked a lot about that, obviously. Your guys' thoughts? No. Who's starting and what's the rotation?
Glenn Robinson's starting. Stuckey's coming off the bench, taking over Robinson's minute. I guess Stuckey already was kind of in a way, but we saw when Glenn Robinson got to start, he got his confidence up. I think those couple games show you what he can give you, and he needs to start and needs to be in that spot.
I like Rodney Stuckey coming off the bench better.
Yeah.
Another thing I like about Glenn Robinson starting over Stuckey is Glenn Robinson doesn't need the ball. He doesn't need the ball, to score, which helps the rest of the team out, because when you have a young star in Miles Turner, I feel like he's underutilized when we have all of our ball handlers in there, guys who are looking to score. If he's really your future with Paul George and he's your second best player, feed the guy the ball. With those, shooting guards who want the ball, who need to shoot the ball, he's getting less touches. It needs to be Paul George, Miles Turner, and then probably Teague, in my opinion. So Glenn Robinson out there just helps you on your defensive side, but also a guy who, if he needs to take a shot, he will, but he's not going to complain if he doesn't get the shot.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think the only reason that Nate Taylor put him into the starting lineup in this article was because of the fact that Brooks has been playing better of late. And if you throw in if you throw in GR3, then you have a really small lineup with that second unit because you have to play Brooks, Stuckey, and Ellis. Or if he wants to bench Ellis, I'm all for it. And then, I don't know, you can test out, but I agree. Stuckey is great for the second unit. I did not agree with Mr. Taylor when it came to that. But Brooks has been playing better. I don't know.
If you stagger the lineups, I think it won't be as big of an issue as he's making it sound, because you're not going to go A unit, B unit, complete swap, and then you're going to have all the short guys on the floor at the same time. It will make your starters a lot taller and longer all the way across, except for Teague, which would be nice when we do play guys like the Warriors, so you can just switch right away and not have to think about it.
I mean, I think we're fans. I think the Corner 3 show endorses Glenn starting and Ellis completely benched with Brooks.
Traded. Gone.
With please. Brooks, Stuckey, CJ Miles, and then a Seraphin or Lavoy Allen, Big Al lineup.
We're bashing Ellis. I would love nothing more than to see him step up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because he's got the game. That's the thing too. I mean, we bash him a lot, but I mean, like the thing is, he's still a good player. Yeah. He just is like lost right now, and it's not. It's on everybody too. Because I mean, his teammates, his coaches have to find him right now. Because if Monte Ellis is traded away, that's a loss for the whole team. It's not just a loss for Monte Ellis. It's because he has the talent and the Pacers couldn't find a way to utilize him in the right way.
Yeah, could be another George Hill kind of situation where he's getting used or playing differently in some other spot. But
yeah, it's a team loss if he can't find his way here. I mean, he's still here for at least another year. So hopefully they can figure it out. Hopefully. And then Kevin Seraphin will get his chance. I don't think he's fully healthy. I think that's part of the thing to Stu. I don't think he's all the way there, so I think that may be a reason, but I don't know.
Yeah. If he was healthy, he would play. He's got too much hustle and he brings a lot of injury to the guys. I don't see why he wouldn't be playing if he wasn't healthy.
Absolutely. And a quick shout out to @_AndrewAdams11 asked us, will a change ever be made? So at the start at the shooting guard position. So I think we pretty much answer that. We hope so, and we think there will be. I think this Ellis injury is a little foreshadowing. Hopefully.
Fortuitous. Hopefully it's good for the team.
Yep.
But moving on to this week, the first game, we already mentioned it tonight. You'll probably already have seen the result, but they play the Charlotte Hornets tonight, the team who always seems to have our number, especially this season. Last game, we lost to them 122-100, and it got out of hand early. It wasn't even really a game. Tonight, hopefully we can change that. This is Roy Hibbert's return.
Does he play?
He's supposed to play tonight. That's what he said.
I saw Michael Grady had a tweet. It's a picture of a signed ball by Roy Hibbert on Amazon for $29, and then Grady goes, "Isn't a ball already $29?"
Why would you spend any money for a Roy Hibbert autograph? Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was hilarious.
Poor guy. It says last year he only missed one game. It was here in Indy. He actually had to borrow Miles Turner's jacket so he could sit on the bench because you have to be dressed appropriately to be on the bench, whatever. So
what a guy.
Get to see him play tonight. Someone also said, will we have enough floor crew to mop up all the sweat from Roy Hibbert falling down, because you know it's going to happen. But yeah, tonight the big matchup is Kemba. We'll get to see Kemba up close again. If T can match him like he did to Chris Paul, that'd be kind of nice to see.
And not Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't understand why we can never beat this team. Even when they're bad, like we lose to this team. I don't get it. It's like
I think Kemba just shreds us. I mean, look at scoring point guards that we face every time. Lillard always lights us up. Walker always lights us up. D Rose, when he was healthy, lit us up. But I think a big key here, and I think we've talked about it a little bit before in our group text, is that Miles Turner in the pick and roll keeps his hands down. So Kemba's coming off the pick and roll, and Teague's chasing him from behind. Miles Turner stands there trying to keep his balance, because he still has like no upper body weight. So if he tilts his arms one way, he'll fall this way. He tilts his arms the other way, he falls that way. But teams just shoot over him. It's like, Miles Turner, you're 6'11", you have a wingspan of 7 feet something. Just put your hands up. But he's still young. I mean, he's 20 years old. I have to be patient. We have to be patient as Pacers fans, but it's little things that can make a huge difference.
Well, and Kemba can get to the rim whenever he feels like it. So that's what's going through his mind when he's trying to guard that.
Yeah.
So I understand it.
So who you got, Ross?
I think we're going to beat them tonight. I think I'm going to take the Pacers after that road trip they were just on. They got to see some good and some bad. It's back home. I think the Pacers are going to get this one.
I agree. I'm going to go with the Pacers on this one. Usually I don't pick the Pacers lately, but it's a home game. I feel like with Paul George playing the way he did against the Blazers, maybe this is a sign of him starting to take over.
I got a loss tonight. We're win one, lose one. I'm Mr. Optimist, I know, but
we're pessimist.
Yeah, today I'm pessimist. But win one, lose one for them.
That's fine. I'll tell you when we get to the pick'em. But you're actually losing right now, so you need to change your ways. But we'll go on.
I'm excited to hear these standings. All right, then we got
Shut up, Ross.
Then we got coming up the Miami Heat, which I did not know they were that bad this year.
They're pretty bad.
Wow. Obviously, going to have issues with
Zach,
Dragic.
Get your league pass on. My gosh, what do you do all during the day? Do you work?
Why would you watch?
work
They're
this
7-17. Why would you watch
just do something with your
I
life?
know. God.
You don't watch every NBA game?
No.
With all the money you make from the show, you don't watch every NBA game and just
2
sit at home
cents,
by
baby.
yourself?
We have made
Once
2
they
cents.
sponsor us, we won't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Hello, Hardee's. Would you please sponsor us already? We're hungry.
We need to make sure
and
we
poor.
tag them.
Biscuit.
But obviously, we're playing Dragic, another guy who has been on the trade block in rumors lately. Who knows if they'll ever move him? Then, of course, you guys got a guy who's not getting a lot of publicity, who's been having a good year again, is Whiteside. He obviously will be a matchup issue for Turner, being a bigger body. It'd be interesting to see what they do to match up with him on next couple nights.
If they still had centers for all-star voting, I think Whiteside would maybe be in your top 3 in the East.
Probably. Just right there with...
He won't make it this year with who else is out there, but...
We should get a GoFundMe. We should just get a GoFundMe.
So we can all buy
No, I mean, like, some of these GoFundMes that go viral are already pretty weak. So I feel like we could...
They're just pretty...
Yeah, I feel like we could definitely make some headway there. Anyways, the Miami Heat are pretty bad this year. They just don't have anybody on their team. It's the Dion Waiters, Justice Winslow show as far as chucking up shots, and Winslow still hasn't developed his shot yet. I think he's going to be a star in this league.
Winslow, yeah.
He's still 20 years old.
I'd still take Turner over him right now.
Oh yeah, for right now.
That was
I think
a debate last year.
At the time, I won.
I think Turner does have some the higher upside just because of he's a stretch 5 like a Porzingis, except without the handles. But who you guys got? I'll take the Pacers because I think the Pacers have had the Heat's number.
I'm taking the Pacers.
Post LeBron.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go with the Pacers as well. It's just a game I feel like they should handle.
Yeah, they should. They
They
lost
should.
to Dallas the
I'm
same way.
going to say this now. I'm going to be like, dang, I knew I should have picked the Heat, but I'll take the Pacers as well.
Yeah, I feel like with this upcoming week, there's opponents where you say they should beat them, but I think one of these they're going to slip up on. But I don't think it's this Miami.
This is their week to make up ground in the standings.
Boom, baby.
There you go.
Reb Porter was at the game, by the way, too.
I saw that.
So
Tua.
He mouthed that when they showed him on the Jumbotron. It's like, no one can hear you, Reb. No one can know it. Never mind. Shout out to Reb Porter, though. Legendary Pacers
Former
PR.
Pacers announcer, yeah.
PA, not PR.
Well.
He's the PA. No, he is the PA. He's a public announcer. Anyways, let's move on to the Pelicans. I just feel bad for Anthony Davis to start out with. I mean, he's like the nicer. He's the nicer DeMarcus Cousins, who has the DeMarcus Cousins situation of he's just never had a break. At least he's been to the playoffs once, but injuries. Drew Holiday's wife had that terrible. I think she had brain cancer, but
a tumor, yeah.
But now he's back. He's actually playing well. But to beat the Pelicans, you have to worry about one player only, and that's Anthony Davis. He's still an absolute stud. He's just not getting the attention now that he used to get because there's Karl Towns, there's Porzingis, there's other young budding superstars. So, Anthony Davis is still going to be huge for this team.
Zach Lowe's talked about it before. If you're going to build a team from the ground up, brand new, who would you take as your corner piece?
Yeah.
Anthony Davis was the answer 2 years ago. Now it's Karl Towns, but I would still put Anthony Davis in my top 3 if I had to pick a guy to build around. I mean, he scores 40 a night when he needs it and his team needs it.
We haven't seen him around like a good player to know what he's capable of.
Yeah, the second best player on his team is Drew Holiday. I mean, he's a really good player, but that's not what
He
you
should
want.
be like Teague as your third option, the guy that's going to distribute the ball, make some plays. He's not going to be your second best player.
Yeah.
That's what Holiday is.
He's like a lesser Teague. Yeah, that's a good analogy. I had also written down, I don't know if you guys watch any Buddy Hield. Before the draft, I was really high on Buddy Hield personally. I love watching him at Oklahoma.
Spud.
Is he broken? What's wrong? Is it just rookie?
In Summer League, he was terrible, and I think someone tweeted today, I think it was Zach Lowe, said that he's like, just take away that he was drafted by the Pelicans. He's like your prototypical Kings draft player, like guy who scores a bunch in like a Jimmer Fredette, guy who scores in bunches in college and then just gets to the pros and his game just doesn't translate. I mean, if he doesn't hit shots, it's tough for him to be an impact player.
Can't play defense.
He can't play defense.
He's only a shooter if his shots.
And
off.
he's younger than older than Bradley Beal. Think about that for a second too. He's older than Bradley Beal.
Because he went 4 years.
He went 4 years.
He's
Think about
23.
that.
Yeah.
Dang.
Bradley, see, there's so many young superstars now, or quote unquote superstars now, who were one and dones, and some of them, like Miles Turner, were 18 when they got drafted. So think about that for a second. There's some guys in this league that feel like they've been here forever, but really they're just super young. And when guys get drafted who are 4-year guys, they are so far behind, a guy who's been in the NBA for 3 years. But Buddy Hield, I don't know.
I hope it turns around.
I'd take a flyer on him, just to have him.
Yeah, I like watching him. So what are our picks for this
Pacers,
game?
baby.
I'm picking the Pacers. This is a game
If they don't win this
stinking
game,
lose.
then that means that they lost to the Heat, and then we just split out of control, and we have to have an emergency episode.
I feel like this is the one game that they're going to slip up on. I can see Anthony Davis ripping off 45 and Buddy Hield actually catching fire. We'll just take that. It's mine.
What, you took the Pelicans?
I'm going to take the Pelicans in this one, yeah.
I feel like Russ feels like he's like in second place right now.
Is he even a Pacers fan?
I'm actually winning so far, but this may put me
Wait,
back.
you came out. You were in last place last week. Now you're winning.
No, well, we were tied last week.
By the
Last
way,
month,
we
I
haven't even
lost
seen
last
the
month.
math. So
Oh, it's legit. I'll show
wait,
you.
is this math like cumulative? Is this from all of the pick'ems we've had, or just from last week?
All of them this month. We reset each month.
Oh,
I thought
each,
we were-
I thought we were
doing
doing
full
full year.
I thought we were doing each month.
we
No,
said
that's
last
why.
week
That's
we're
why.
going
No,
to
no,
talk
no,
about
no,
this
no.
Oh,
That's why.
That's why all of a sudden he's in
Yeah,
last place.
that's why we're not having you do anything. That's why the loser for the whole
Yeah.
Well, then I'll
year.
add them up for the whole year because if you do the whole year, then I think we're all either tied or I'm still.
Oh,
down
now
one.
we're tied. Whatever, man.
We were nice
You guys
to you
don't
and
tell me
said
how
it
they
wouldn't be a
wanted this, let me-
monthly.
You're out of the Corner Free
punishment.
Show group chat, Ross.
That's
Change
why I
your
thought it was a
Twitter.
monthly thing.
Change your Twitter username.
Tweet.
To loser?
Get lost. No, to like the corner one.
Okay.
Anyways,
Where we at,
Okay,
Ross?
guys, now I have to lead the next one. Okay, next they play the Pistons. What do we have to say about the Pistons? Oh, we have one Piston fan raising their hand? That's no.
oh yes. By the way, shout out Chantel Lovelace. She is in studio with us. Say hi, Chantel. That is Zach's lovely wife. That's it. Anyways, she's awesome though. Her basketball knowledge is
None.
not as deep as the Corner Three's expertise, but her knowledge of knit hats is
And Blackhawks is
no Red Wings.
Red Wings.
Oh my God, that's
Sorry.
like the worst thing you can say to a Red
Detroit,
Wings
Chicago,
fan
it's
is
close.
that they're a Blackhawks fan. She has a Red Wings.
That's how much hockey I watch. I'm really sorry.
Oh my God. Anyways,
Anyway, we're playing Detroit.
yeah, Ross, we're kicking you out of this segment. Reggie Jackson's back. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, that's
make
all.
Ross
Besides
cry.
Reggie Jackson and Andre Drummond, who do the Pistons have that we should be worried about?
Caldwell Pope,
I like Tobias Harris.
Aaron Baines. Just kidding.
They're 13-13. They're one game up on us. They're a team we should beat if we have hopes of getting
Great
higher
coach.
in the standings.
Build a wall.
Oh, jeez.
Remember that?
Stan?
Yeah. You're just gonna
man.
build a wall. You know, he uses a word in between build and then wall, but it's not
Let me
just
ask you this.
a.
Would you take Stanley Johnson as the starting two, just so he would be? He wouldn't have to shoot a lot. Obviously, you want Paul. You want Miles Turner. Teague.
For
those
who?
are-
He's a better.
No, just if you had it. Would you want him as a starting two? Because he would just play defense like crazy for you.
I'd take Glenn Robinson over him.
Defensively,
I think Stanley has defense on Glenn, but Glenn has a lot higher upside offense,
Yeah.
obviously. So
I think Glenn has a bigger differentiation or bigger difference between his offense and Stanley Johnson's offense than there's a bigger difference between how much better Stanley Johnson is on defense than GR3. Anyways, Drummond is a beast on the boards, and we have been a terrible rebounding team, so that doesn't make me feel any better about this game, but I'll take the Pacers as well. These are three teams that are under 500 or at 500, and Pacers need to have one of these runs here where they rattle off 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, something like that, because the rest of the East has done that.
need to, but will they?
No, probably not. Anyways, I'm going optimist.
I'm gonna go Detroit on this one.
By the way, Andre Drummond has really hairy shoulders. If you want some really fun like Google image fun,
No.
seriously, Andre Drummond hairy shoulders. It's like curly and people make fun of him.
you look at weird stuff.
but now
are you
it was on
doing?
Reddit NBA. It was on Reddit NBA.
Are you
Shout out
supposed to
Reddit
do
NBA.
homework? What are you doing?
all right, I'll pick the Pistons.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really weird because he also dated the girl from iCarly, the blonde girl. What's her name? Chantel. What's her name? Chantel's gonna get back to us, but it's the blonde girl. And then I saw he had hairy shoulders, and I was like, Andre Drummond's an interesting guy, and he's friends with Jesse Eisenberg.
What? That's the most random pairing.
Yeah,
Who's a Pacers fan?
Who is also a Pacers fan.
Oh crap.
Anyways, moving on.
All right, so we're in our general NBA talk.
That's
section.
about as general NBA talk as you can get right
We're
there.
gonna talk about Andre Drummond's shoulders. Anyway, there's obviously some rumors going around. The most prominent one this week was the possible Melo trade. People saying it's Porzingis' team. He had a meeting with Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson, I think he even said something in the media this week that Melo is like a ball stopper.
Yep.
Yeah. Instead of going to Melo saying, "Hey, you need to pass it," he goes to the media and says,
Yeah, and then Melo posted something on Instagram saying about you need to let it go and like be a bigger man and all this stuff. And
they met
awkward
yesterday. They met yesterday. It's very interesting. What's her name? Jeanette McCurdy. Shout out
McCurdy.
Andre Drummond's ex-girlfriend. But yes,
Random
so
NBA
this has been, even though the Knicks even though the Knicks, even though the New York Knicks are in 4th place in the East, some turmoil there as far as I think Porzingis is emerging, and I think everyone sees that. And of course, Melo has that no trade clause. But still, I think this is a move. People have talked about Houston. People have talked about L.A., the Clippers. Do you guys see him releasing that no trade clause so he can be traded?
No.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Personally, I don't. I mean, the team needs to give it to Porzingis. He is the future, but they're still hanging on to Melo and Derrick Rose, and they're running stuff through them.
Yeah.
Melo loves being in New York. His wife loves being in New York. The team knew what kind of a player he was when they got him. He's not going to change. They do need to make a change with either Rose or Melo if they want to give it the reins to Porzingis and really move on, but I don't see that happening.
As an NBA fan, I would love to see him wave it and get traded because it makes for drama, see new teams formed, makes it fun on 2K. But I don't see it happening. He's going to stay in New York.
Zach hasn't found that team management settings yet where you can trade anyone.
I want it to be legit is what I want.
No, I agree. I think the only way he gets traded is if the Clippers start to fall off the map a little bit and want to make a trade was for CP3 or for Griffin, or Houston falls off. But I think those are the only two places that he'll allow himself to be traded. But still, I don't see it, especially with the Knicks playing well. Even though there's all this crap going on with Jackson. Phil Jackson this year had a bad year. Posse comments and now this crap. So good job, Phil.
Is he trying to get himself fired so he can go back to L.A., but now they're happy with...
How much did he get? 18?
I heard Kobe talk to Melo about how to deal with Phil or like to send something. It's just funny. It's just like stupid NBA drama because, Melo has been the same player for years. And it's like every year around like this time, they're like, oh, wait. He doesn't fit. He doesn't fit here. It's like, my gosh.
Go figure.
Also, LeBron's the first forward to reach 7,000 assists. I think he also has, 27,000 points as well?
Yeah, like 7,000 rebounds.
Points. Well, he just passed somebody for 9th on the career scoring list. And I did some numbers. If he continues to average around 25 points a game, that's about 5.5 seasons. He'll pass Kareem for the number 1 spot on the all-time scoring list. He's only 31. I think he could be the NBA's all-time scoring list if he keeps it up.
I think he wants to be first in a ton of
I think
categories.
he would want to be first. So I've written down here: Is he the greatest small forward ever?
Small forward, yes.
Yeah.
It's either him or Bird, but I think LeBron.
Oh,
he
passing
Bird.
Oh yeah, he's better than Bird.
Don't give him an give him a yeah.
No.
It's Larry Legend.
Think about it.
Give him some respect.
I'll give White Chocolate a little respect, but
White Chocolate?
I'm calling Larry Bird the White
That's
Chocolate.
Jason Williams.
Who cares about Jason Williams?
Everyone cares about.
My
don't care
favorite
about Jason
passer
Williams.
of all time.
There might only be one of us next week on the Corner 3 show. Ross for ignorance and Zach for Larry bashing.
Jason Williams too busy playing guys at the YMCA.
Just
now
me and
posting videos on
Chantel
YouTube.
talking iCarly.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, no, I think LeBron will probably go down when he's retired. It's all said and done as the greatest player of all time. Even though I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, I just think he's that good.
He's a monster.
And last year's finals was the coolest thing I've ever watched in sports, other than the Cubs winning World Game 7. But that was just the coolest thing, watching him take over and just put it all on his shoulders. That was so cool. Yeah. Even though, obviously I'm a Pacers fan. Anyways.
Yeah. Obviously, also we know that Golden State, after the throttling of the Pacers, they're on a roll right now. They've got 4 games in the last 5 nights they've won. Even when their players have a bad game, someone else is stepping up to carry the team. Yeah. I mean, you better when you got 4 superstars on your team. Besides,
it's not fair right now.
It's really not fair.
Only hope we have is Draymond kicks a guy in the nuts and he gets suspended.
He will.
So
CJ Miles' wife tweeted at Draymond Green and said, "Please don't kick my husband in the nuts tonight."
We need
I want to have babies.
after.
Just not me.
Yeah. What a guy.
And then we had a matchup of Westbrook.
You can still come on, Draymond, by the way.
Yeah, Draymond, you can.
You can still come on.
Maybe.
No.
Ross says no. But Westbrook, he's also on fire. He had a matchup against Harden last week, averaging triple doubles. He's tied with Jordan for 7 straight, but it came to an end.
That ended the last game, but
yeah. Can you imagine though? You had Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kevin Durant and Ibaka all on the same team,
and you made one finals appearance.
Well, they only gave themselves one chance to go.
Yeah, they traded Harden
because they traded right after that season.
Yeah, because he was coming off the
like
bench.
Kevin Martin and Jeremy Lamb, worst trade in history.
And Steven Adams.
The Harden trade has been broken down numerous times, and it doesn't get better. It just gets worse every year. And Presti will have to live with that the rest of his life. The fact that he lost that, and then it probably led to Durant leaving too. Because I think with the way the NBA was trending with superstars, I think it would be hard for those 3 to not stay together, just because they knew they had a chance every single year, and they could just pay those guys $25 million a piece, and then every time for those listening on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud, our posters do not like us. Anyways, moving on. Let's take a look at the standings here. Obviously, Cleveland at the top, number 1 seed, 17-5. Toronto just behind, 16-7. And then you have a little bit of a drop off there, where the Hornets and Knicks are just 4 games behind, followed by the Bulls and Celtics, who have not been playing well as of late. And then you have the Pistons, the Hawks, who have also fallen off 3-7 in their last 10. Then you find the Pacers. Yeah. So the East is right where we left it last time we had the show. But then if you look at the West, really they're 4 through 8 have been on a tear. The Grizzlies, the Thunder, and the Jazz, 7-3, 7-3, and 8-2. And the Grizzlies had a huge win against the Warriors the other night. Out of nowhere. That was pretty cool to see that. Troy Williams had that block on Stephen Curry that was everywhere. But so you last week we talked about the East and the West being in the same sort of mood right now, as far as a lot of teams right next to each other. A week later, that's changed.
I mean, a lot of teams are right next to each other in the West, but if you compared West
just playing better,
East, the West is playing a heck of a lot better than the East is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Which we kind of expect. It happens every year.
Lakers starting to fall off too with 2-8. They kind of had a little honeymoon opening to the season. Yeah. But I think they've had D'Angelo Russell's been out.
Yeah.
And someone else. I don't know. But the NBA is shaping out just like we thought it would, except the Boston obviously has been an outlier, and the Pacers too, I'd say, as far as teams that they thought would be higher.
Yep. Yeah, it is interesting how the longer we go in the season, the more the stories and the teams shake out to where we thought they would be. Oklahoma City's falling back into their 5-6 spot, we kind of thought. You said Lakers, yeah. Very interesting. But TNT predictions for this week. I won't go through the pick 'em because obviously I'm doing it wrong. Guys, Chicago at Milwaukee is the first one. Who do we have?
So I'm just laughing at that. Let's see. Chicago's kind of...
Milwaukee is... I mean, they're all right there in the mix.
They're all right there.
I'll take Milwaukee, a little
you stole my thunder.
Greek freak. I don't know.
I'm going to Bulls now.
Are you serious? Mm-hmm. That changed everything. I'm going with Bulls. Too.
No,
I'm kidding.
Who's going to pick first? Come on.
I got Bulls.
Okay. Well, I got to change it already. I'm going to go with the Bulls too myself.
Chantel? Bulls or Bucks?
Milwaukee versus Chicago.
Bulls.
Who are the Bucks?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yep, positive.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Put Chantel, pick Bucks. You did not pick that. You got to write that down, Ross.
Chantel.
Thank you. Now moving on to New York and Golden State. I have Golden State because I think that this game is stupid for it to be primetime.
Golden State by 30? 35?
Yes.
Golden State.
No one to guard anyone.
You know, in games like this, we should just not even make a pick. We should just do a plus minus.
We should do the spread. We should see the spread.
I should have looked up the spread. I don't have the spread.
Yeah,
but
all three of us are cool.
Joakim Noah has to be the worst signing of the year so far. They paid him like $64 million.
He looks 1,000 years old. What happened to him?
You see DeMarcus Cousins making fun of his free throw for him. But seriously, that's a terrible signing. You have him for 3 more years now. All that money.
3 years.
3 more years.
Robin Lopez should have kept Robin Lopez.
Crazy. Robin Lopez is a little nuts for me though.
Yeah, but
I mean, like he might be good, but he's a little nuts. Thank you, Chantel, for that. All right, so moving on. College talk. IU and Purdue, kind of a down week for both of those teams. Just not playing one really of notice. I don't think Purdue played anyone of notice. If you want to, someone look that up. I don't know. But Butler had a big loss. They were up to 16th in the country, and they lost to Indiana State by 1 point on free throws. Really weird game for them. Just everything. It wasn't just a game where they didn't play well. It was a game where, like, you know, some attitudes were showing. I think Keelan Martin did get benched versus Cincinnati on Saturday. But then they come back and beat a really good Cincinnati team that was ranked the top 25. They start Kamar Baldwin, so that freshman from Butler is really starting to get some headway. In fact, they featured him in their new ad that was on Fox Sports. So obviously that they're trying to promote this kid because they think he's going to be a stud. But this kind of ties in with basketball day in Indiana. So that was Saturday. How was your guys' basketball day in Indiana?
I was babysitting.
That's not. All right, you got to make something up.
Sorry.
Make something up, Ross. How's your basketball day in Indiana, Zach?
Practice.
Well, my basketball day in Indiana consisted of.
It was great, right?
It's great. It was great. I got to see Alex tweeting from the Southport game. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
My goodness. Chantel, how was your basketball day in Indiana?
Fabulous.
Wow. Best reaction I've gotten yet.
I read the Doyle article. That's all I did.
Yeah.
Oh, the Langford one?
Yeah.
Not all
good.
of us were able to go as hardcore as Alex on basketball day in Indiana.
Not all of us are single and can go wherever we want. Just kidding.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing, yes. For all the Corner 3 single ladies out there,
Oh, jeez.
tweet at us. But
Do we
no.
have any female followers?
No.
Besides? No. Okay.
Anyways, basketball day in Indiana. That was fun, actually. So there was 2 games at Bankers Life to start the day. And then there's the Forum Tip-Off Credit Union shootout at Southport High School, which is the 4th biggest gym in the state. So Southport's a great place to see a high school basketball game if you get the chance to. But the marquee matchup was North Central versus New Albany. So for our listeners, North Central has Chris Wilkes. North Central, first of all, Eric Gordon, Aaron Gordon, the Gordon kids obviously all went there. Devontae Smith-Rivera as well. So they've had a long history of D1 players, and they're a great program. And then New Albany, they're just north of the Kentucky border, but North Central has a player by the name of Chris Wilkes. He's top.
Indiana Mr. Basketball?
Yeah, he's.
Me, New Albany.
No, he's on New
North
Albany.
Central. Wilkes
Oh, I
is
thought you were
on
talking
Central.
about Langford.
No.
I'm sorry.
Wilkes, but he's a beast. He's going to UCLA, had all the offers in the world. Absolute monster. Had a behind-the-back dunk. Quinn went nuts for it. Chris and Quinn did the game. But then New Albany has the guy everyone's talking about, the player Ross mentioned. Do you want to talk about that article you read?
Romeo
Langford.
who Doyle says will be the Indiana Mr. Basketball next year. Since he's been a freshman, their ticket sales went from 1,000 to 2,700. So him alone is bringing season tickets for the basketball program. They're bringing in so much money for this school. He had a little snippet about the wrestling coach comes to the athletic director every 5 years wanting a new mat, and every time he has to say no, we don't have the money. Now he says yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
So this one player alone is bringing this school so much money to fund other programs. Yeah. I didn't get to see him in person, but he sounds like he is crazy.
I saw him last year at the same event when he was a sophomore before he had broken out, and that was actually his game where he broke out last year, and he had 30, and he's just a beast. Wilkes has all the talent in the world, and we're going to have Wilkes on hopefully in January, February. But Wilkes is a great player. I mean, UCLA, Reggie Miller told Wilkes he can wear his 31 at UCLA if it's up to him. Great player, all the talent in the world. But Langford's just a different type of player. I mean, he has the NBA skills that he uses in the game. I mean, you can be all over him and he will get a shot up. I mean, just he had a 3 from just inside half court, just in stride. I mean,
they said he played terribly, but he still had 30 plus.
30 points. I mean, he's just an absolute beast, and you could just tell that those two guys, they were going at each other. It was just a fun game. Southport was packed, so it's like 8,000 people at a high school basketball game. I mean, that was Hoosier hysteria at its best. It was just a great event. But then from there, I headed down to Bankers Life. It was 70s night. Got the bobbleheads. They commemorated all the 70s players during halftime.
Ellis.
It was just a fun time. I hope they do it next year too. The weather was terrible to have that outdoor set on Georgia Street, which they did have. But
well, next year will we finally get the actual era jerseys? Why can't they wear the 70s,
I know.
60s, 80s jerseys?
I think
80s?
Ben Gibson, shout out 8.9
I had that written down.
seconds.
I forgot who
He
said
tweeted
that.
us because I just tweeted a photo from Inside Baker's Life. But then he says, "Isn't it just a tragedy that the Pacers can't have their throwbacks, which they have had in the past?"
Yeah.
And the Heat have like 10 alternate jerseys.
Yeah.
And the Pacers can't get like ones for their 50th anniversary.
I want to see
It
the
just doesn't make
pinstripes
no
on
sense.
90s night. I want to see. Come on.
Yeah. I guess also we can throw out that PG has his new hat collection coming out.
The
You
new
guys going to
era.
be donning the new era? Sorry for the rest of our YouTube show today. It will only be a beautiful graphic done by Mr. Zach Lovelace, but the rest of the show will just be this one graphic. We thank you for your whatever, your patience.
I will be surprised if any of you have made it this far into the video, but
If you have, you win.
if you have,
For iTunes though, just delete that and just
I will.
Okay.
we already know. I
All
like
right.
it though.
Actually, I'll have to do that. That's fine. That's fine. Anyways, let's talk about. Oh no, wait.
Oh, whoa.
Are we done?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hat.
PG's hats.
PG's hats.
I'm gonna get them.
You're gonna get them? How
Or
many-
no, I want to get the pinstripe one. The yellow one with the
like
pinstripes.
The Indiana pinstripe one. I may
Some
get
of them
that
were
one.
at. They were at. Some people had them last night in
I
the.
saw the Bulldog one, pinstripe.
Some of them were at the game, so some people are getting them.
I'm not a big hat person, but I would get that one.
Oh, let me look these suckers up.
They're pretty cool. All right, while he's talking about that, give us a Mad Ants update
Yeah, bro.
because
Because it actually
I've been
matters.
wanting a Mad Ants update.
The Ants are 9-2, top of their division.
Mm-hmm.
Top player was actually Niang is down there, right? Well, he just got recalled, but Niang was down for the last 2 games. He scored 22 the first game, only 13 the last game. But who's been surprising me? I was reading the box scores. Poitras said the name wrong.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
I don't know.
20 points the last 2
He's just
games. I would.
No, I
believe
think
you.
it's Poitras.
Anyway, he's been playing well.
No, he's good.
You bragged him up before the season, and I didn't think he was worth anything.
Well, he's a McDonald's All-American, and I mean, if you're a McDonald's All-American, you had to do something right in high school or have some sort of talent that made people look at him. But I mean, he could have been a top 20 pick if he came out his first year, but he
Remember that.
went back and then was injured and injured again. But if he could get healthy, he's a player that the Pacers, it's going to be nice to have. It's nice that they bought the team so that they have him exclusively. And Julian Stone's actually been playing well, too.
Yeah, yes, he has.
So they got some good players
And he's
up
running
there
the
in Fort Wayne.
Pacers system at the Mad Ants, so he's
Yeah.
getting Pacers practice. And
They,
the Pacers are
they
really
love
bringing
him. I
down.
forgot that Steve, is it Steve something?
Steve Gansey.
Steve Danzy. They love him up there. They always brag about him. So obviously that they like what they're doing up there. And we don't know, how well this program is going to work for the Pacers until we see some of these call-ups happen. So I think, if we see an injury, hopefully we don't, to any of the Pacers players in the front court, Steve Poitras come down from Fort Wayne, he could turn some heads, especially for people who know who he is and,
Would
want
you
to
rather see him get called up than Christmas?
Yes.
Christmas seems a little bit like a goofball. Do you guys follow Kevin Serafin on Snapchat? He's
no.
a must. You guys got to add him on Snapchat. Just sings lyrics all day. But he and Christmas just
I feel like
goof off all the
Christmas
time.
is this year's Whittington, but not nearly as bad. I don't know. He's never going to make that step. I feel
Yeah,
like.
I agree. I think Poitras has a chance to come in and be like a way better Lavoy Allen, which
He's
would be
definitely got
nice.
more
Anything is
athleticism.
better than Lavoie.
Yes, that's true.
We love you,
We
Lavoy.
kind of forgot to mention this weekend is a big event. We
Yeah.
had basketball day this last weekend. This next upcoming weekend, Crossroads Classic, where all 4 of the teams in it are actually ranked in the top 25 for the first time in a while.
It's gonna be a great event. Always is. I think. I don't know who they switched every year, but
You guys going? I'm gonna be out of town.
I'll be,
You're gonna. That's,
I'll be out of town.
I won't be able to make it either.
Rats. Somebody go. Tell us how it was. I wish I was gonna.
We don't
be
have
there.
TVs or Twitter, so you just have to tell us what happened. Otherwise, or pigeon us, pigeon messages. It's the only way.
No.
All right, corner 3, Zach, hit us up.
Corner 3 this week. So this week on the corner 3, we decided to switch it up a little bit. We are going to pick our three top Pacers thus far this season. And after we discuss that, we're also going to go over our 3 top NBA performers / MVP candidates. So, who would like to jump in first with their top 3 Pacers this
Let's
year?
go 3 first. I'm
3
looking
first.
at you, Ross.
Number 3?
Looking at you, Ross.
Teague. Jeff Teague. I've been very happy with how he's played to start the season. I love pass first point guards, but he can also score when he needs to. Improvement over George Hill. even though I do love George Hill, I'm going to go with Teague as my number 3.
This is like impact performers too. So not just. I think there's some player like. Just go ahead. I'm just talking now.
You're just talking now. I was going to say my third was going to be Glenn Robinson. Limited time, obviously, limited chances to show what he has. But when he has came in or where he's filled in for somebody, he's had an impact. And obviously that's shown because he's starting tonight. So my third Pacer is Glenn Robinson.
I have Jeff Teague as well. Obviously, I mean, he's averaging his stats are ridiculous. Let me look at the stats right here. I had them pulled up. But people don't really realize what he's averaging right now. He is at 15 points a game, 7 assists, and almost 4 rebounds with 2 steals. That's pretty darn good. I mean, we haven't really talked about him as a breakout player yet. He had that really good game against the Thunder, but no, this is Teague.
Sorry,
but he's been really good so far this year. I think he'll only get better too. That's the thing. I think he can average 18, 19 a game.
Used to where PG likes.
If the Pacers could have 3 guys average 20 with Turner, Teague, and PG, they will be awfully hard to beat. Because CJ, his per 36 is 19 points a game. It's pretty good.
I'm there with you. So then my number 2, Miles Turner. I've been very pleased with his development. Year 2, he already looks like. I mean, he's not going to make the All-Star team this year, but I think he has a chance in the years to come if he keeps putting that stuff together. Killer outside shot for a big guy. Miles Turner's my number 2.
Nice.
Number 2. I actually had my number 2 was Jeff Teague. It's been nice to see somebody who can come in and run the point and create plays, make something out of nothing. But also he can also get a shot when he needs it, and that's why I have Jeff Teague as my number 2.
I have a tie. I always do this. GR3 and CJ, just because they both fill the same type of role. But CJ probably has had his best start as a Pacer thus far. He's shooting the ball really, really, really well. Last game, not so much, but other than that,
they're not making him play the 4 on defense.
So he's playing really well there. And then Glenn Robinson obviously has been a stud this season so far, and hopefully keep it up.
Okay. Well, then my number 1, I kind of cheated. I did our big 3 that we talked about earlier. I mean, it has to be Paul George, right?
No.
For the number 1.
He
is the team. If he's on, we're going to win. Best player on the floor most nights.
That's what I got. The only thing that I picked Paul George as my number 1. The only thing that made me think of something different was if I was going to go for a guy who's only missed 1 game, instead of missing a couple because of injury, I was going to throw Miles Turner as my number 1. But if we're going by overall what I think is Paul George, that's what I would do. But if we said, hey, he had to play a majority of the games, then I'd say Miles Turner. I
mean, we would have lost 2 of our last 3 if we didn't have Paul George because he won the Phoenix game and he won last night's game. I think Zach Lowe tweeted last night's game the Portland Pacers game was a perfect shootout, but also gave you no hope for either team just because it's like, well, I mean, we didn't play well, but I guess we just did enough to win, you know? I mean, we didn't beat them. We kind of just outscored them.
Yeah. Nice. I kind of had an honorable mention. I'm impressed with Thaddeus, at least the last couple games.
Shooting well.
Can keep that going.
Shooting well. All right. We'll do top 3 NBA quickly. Let's hear it.
This is a longer discussion for another time, but you want to start at 3 again?
Yeah.
So if the MVP, if I had an MVP vote, I don't. My number 3 MVP pick right now would be James Harden.
That was your number 3?
I know you're a Harden fan, so maybe.
I'd say my number 3 right now is Kevin Durant.
Ooh, I got DeMar DeRozan. Just been a stud this season. 27, 28 a game. He and Lowry are killing it. Don't hate the DeRozan.
He said, eh.
No, he's been. Have you seen that Vine with Lowry really quickly, where he's like, "What adjustments did you make at halftime?"
Give him the ball.
Like, oh, that's a good adjustment.
Yeah, that was nice. Well, I pulled an Alex from my number 2. My number 2 MVP pick, the Golden State Warriors. Well, Steph, Durant, Klay Thompson.
That was a little bit of an Alex with a little bit of a Ross.
That was a mixture.
All of them, they're all going to...
That was a little bit.
They're going to share the votes.
That was good. That was
None
good,
of them are going to win an MVP because they're all going to take each other's votes. But you have to include one of them because they're amazing, but I can't pick. They're all so good.
That was good.
There you go. See?
Actually, all right. My number 2 is James Harden. I have Harden as my second. Not my first choice, but my second choice.
I got Harden for second. I just think he's been a stud all year. And he's going to score points for them. I'm going to tell you that.
As a point guard, I didn't think it would work.
It's working.
Score first guy, but it seems to be working.
So does that mean we all have the same?
Sounds like we do. And this is a longer discussion for another time, I think. Can an MVP be on a team that's 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 on the playoffs?
Who's your MVP?
Okay, well, mine's Westbrook.
Mine's Westbrook.
Mine's LeBron James, guys. LeBron James. Honestly. James. He's just that damn good. I'm sorry. Like, he is. I mean, he is the best player in the NBA every night.
This is kind of like the argument, like Coach of the Year should be
This is
Pop
a different
every
argument
year,
because now you're
should
getting
be
into
LeBron every year.
Who's the most valuable player for his team, or you going for the best player?
I think he's been the best player this year too. I mean, look at when they win, when they
Westbrook's
lose.
There's a
averaging
difference.
triple-double.
Westbrook is
Triple-double.
averaging a triple-double, like you said. And if you take him off of their team for an injury, they're even more terrible. If you
worse
take
than
LeBron
Dallas.
off, he still has Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving.
I still think that LeBron is the only reason the Warriors didn't win the championship last year, and the only reason the Warriors won't win it this year.
There's two categories: best player in the NBA versus MVP.
I think LeBron is still the best player and the most valuable.
It would be interesting to see when the voting actually does come out.
So that means you don't even have Westbrook in your top 3.
No, I just think that
you failed off this podcast.
I watch them just like all of us, and it's fun to watch him here and there, but I don't think. I mean, you saw what happened with them with the Rockets the other night. He had the last shot to win the game, and he didn't pass it. Beverly locked him up, and then he makes an excuse afterwards. I love him for staying in OKC, but after like 4 or 5 years of LeBron torturing the Pacers when he was with the Heat and now with the Cavs, I just respect the hell out of the guy. He is just a beast. I mean, he is just so good.
But he's not winning MVP this
Just to show off the current
He should
percentage.
win MVP every year, just like Shaq should have won MVP every year.
Shaq was a beast. Yeah. Current percentage to win it. Number 4 with 11.7% is Westbrook. Number 3 is LeBron James with 14.3%.
That's ridiculous.
Number 2 is Durant with 20.2%.
That's so stupid.
And Harden at 33.4% is ranked at number 1.
LeBron James should win MVP every year until he retires. He's a beast. Anyways,
I'm not denying that. I'm
Yeah,
just
hear this and more later on next week's show. Just kidding.
that's a longer discussion.
But to inform our viewers and listeners of the show, we are traveling. The Corner 3 is
2 of us are traveling.
is regional.
You're traveling to a hospital.
Yes. Also,
James.
Ross Blauvelt. We'll have a little Ross Blauvelt among us very soon. Not with the name Ross. We don't know the name
Junior
yet.
is a weird thing I do. No,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
But so congratulations to Ross whenever that happens.
Thank you.
Zach and I will be traveling down to sunny, warm, beautiful Sandy Beach, Florida.
And they may meet up on the beach and have a podcast.
We're gonna do the show from somewhere, and we'll
We should
call
have
in
the beach
Ross.
in the background.
We'll call in Ross. So the show will still be our regular. Will still be on.
So the
Don't worry. Don't worry.
2 to 3 weeks we're gonna have it, but it may be unique.
Oh yeah, it'll be unique. It's always unique. Chantel won't be. Actually, Chantel might be with us.
She could still.
Chantel,
drop
do you have
in
any
on the
thoughts
beach.
before we close out today's show?
She's like, wait, you guys are recording while we're in Florida?
Shaq didn't tell me.
Just kidding. No.
Great.
Anyways, Ross, where can they catch us?
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, The Corner 3 Show.
There you go.
And Zach.
Get it all. We're also on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Give us a shout out to all your friends. Retweet us. Like our posts.
Talk
Leave a
to your
review.
friends. Share the love. Write a Facebook post about how much you love the show and how you can't stand not watching the show or listening to the show.
That's right.
I know it's part of all of your weeks. It's very important.
We appreciate you, the viewer, and also any potential sponsors. Anybody. Hardee's. Maybe make a GoFundMe. We might make a GoFundMe. Those things are the best.
I can't fund myself.
Anyways, that's it for the Corner 3 show. Thanks for watching.
Peace.
See ya.